Good morning, everybody. Myself Anupati Mishra from Alpi Public School, Gola Bazar, Gorakhpur. In the previous video, we have already studied about letter Guptas. Before that, we have studied about Chandragupta II and Chandragupta I, Samudragupta. Then after that, we have studied the administration into the Gupta's dynasty. Today, we will study social life into Gupta's dynasty. What was the social life into the Gupta's dynasty? How the people used to live into the Gupta's dynasty? So, people led a happy, comfortable and prosperous life. According to Fahian, the standard of living was quite high. Most people lived in villages and led a simple and honest life. Laws were simple and punishment were not very harsh. People led a happy and very comfortable and prosperous life. They don't need any type of uncomfortability. They don't have any type of uncomfortability into living their life. Their life was too much prosperous. What do you mean by prosperous? Prosperous means they don't have any lack of anything. They don't have any lack of things. Means they have money, they have grains, they have all type of foods. What they want to eat, they want to wear. If they want to wear anything, they don't lack of that. They don't have any lack of that. So, according to Fahian, who was Fahian? Fahian was a Chinese pilgrim who came to India into the reign of Chandragupta II, means Vikramaditya. Into the reign of Vikramaditya or Chandragupta II, he came to India and spent 6 years in visiting Buddhist monasteries. So many Buddhist monasteries was there into that time, and he visited many Buddhist monasteries. He was a Buddha. He was a Buddhist. So he came to India and spent 6 years. He lived here and had told into his chronicle that the standard of living was quite high. The standard of living was too much high. Next, people lived in a village. Basically, people want to live in a village. Okay, they don't prefer district, or just like today's time, the people mostly prefer district because district have all the facilities and village don't have the facilities related to that. But in that case, villages, people lived mostly in villages and led a simple and honest life. They lived very simple and honest life. Laws were simple and punishment was not very harsh. Laws related to any type of things was so much simple, and punishment were not very harsh. Means to say that, means no any difficult punishment was given. Punishment related to money or many more things related to that was related to the money was mostly preferred. Next, agriculture was the main occupation of the people at that time. Agriculture was the main occupation of the people. Mostly people spent their life by doing agriculture. Most of the revenue came from the land. Most of the revenue means most of the taxes came from the land, because agriculture was the main occupation in that time. In today we can also say that we already know that India is a agriculture based country, and in that time also into the Gupta's dynasty people basically preferred the agriculture. Next, however, the artifact and monument of this period found a different side suggested that they had mastered and perfected a number of craft. Means to say that they were, if we see the monument, if we see the pillar, or if we see the temple of that time, we can say that the artifact of that time was too much perfect. They were mastered into their art. Means any monument they have to make, they don't use any type of specialized machine, only by their hand and only by their hammer. Only by hammer and nickel they start making the monuments, making the making the arts related to the by their hand. But nowadays we use machineries to make that type of artifact, but they were the perfection, but they were the master into that. They were perfect in making their art on the monument or on the pillar or on the stone. So it further led to the stratification of society into a number of occupations based on caste category. Next, mostly people were divided into the caste category according to their occupation. Means to say that into previous chapter you have already studied that there were 4 castes: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Shudra. Brahman, who were Brahmans? Brahmans were those who teach the students, who teach the people or do the rituals. They were the Brahmans. And second was Kshatriya. What Kshatriya do? Kshatriya were the warriors. They saved the people, they saved their empire, they saved their villages or whatever they rule. They try to save them, or they lead the army or fight the war. Next, third was Vaishyas. Who were Vaishyas? Vaishyas were basically merchants who import and export the goods. Okay, and fourth was Shudras. Shudras was the lowest category of all the caste. They basically do the lowest work which we nowadays we do it ourselves into our home, just like cleaning the house, cleaning the road, or making the buildings, or washing the utensils. These were the basic work, lower work. These type of works were given to the Shudras. Next, there were 4 main castes, and many sub-castes had also into existence. 4 main castes I have already told you, and sub-caste was also into the existence. So sub-caste was also there. The Chandelas or the untouchables were looked down upon the others and considered impure. Means Gandhiji already given the name to these Shudras, that was Harijans. These Harijans were the untouchables at that time. People don't want to touch them because they thought that they were impure. They are not pure for us. If we touch them, then we also get impure. Next, they lived outside of the town or the villages and performed menial jobs for the higher caste. They basically lived outside of the town or the villages. They were not allowed to live into the village. They were not allowed to use the well which was into the center of the main village. They always live outside of the village and the town. They have another well were given to them to use the water of that well. If anybody of the Shudras or untouchable came into the town or the villages and take water from the well, then the people at that time treat him or her not well. So nowadays it is not possible. Next, women lead a restricted life. They were treated inferior to men. Women were not given any type of permission to do the study or to do any other social work or political work. They were too much restricted, means they are not allowed to do any work related to the social life or the political life. They were treated inferior to men. They were not treated same as men. The treatment was not given same as men at that time. They were also treated lower than the men. They were married off early, and numerous restrictions were imposed on them. The women at that time were married early, means into the early age, into the year of 10 or 12 they get married. And Numerous restrictions were imposed on them. So much restriction, restriction means to say that so many things they don't allow to do or to perform, such that they are not allowed to receive education. Education was not given to the women at that time. They were discouraged from participating in social and political activities. They were not allowed to perform the social activities. Means nowadays women have the right to lead the to live the political life or to become a leader. But at that time, women were not allowed to do the political activities. Next one is trade. Trade. During the early phase of the Gupta rule, both internal and external trade prospered. Both internal and external means import, internal, export, external. What do you mean by import? Internal means goods sent from one place to another place, means from one state to another state, or from one village to another village, or from one district to another district. That is known as import. Means internal trade was prosperous at that time, was good at that time, and external trade was also good at that time. Means external trade means export means from one country to another country, means to say that from India to another country, from India to Malaysia, from India to Indonesia, from India to Iran, from India to Iraq, from India to Arab, means so many countries were attached to the India into trade. Next, trade flourished on the western coast with the port of Bharuch, Supara and Kalyan serving a major center. Western coast means the western part of India. Western coast of India, basically the western coast into the Gupta's dynasty was used for the trade. The western coast into the Gupta's dynasty was used for the trade, means Bharuch, Sopara, Kalyan, these were the main centers of the trade into the Gupta's dynasty. Next, the Gupta had trade contact with the Western Asia, Africa, Arabia, Tamralipatti, Tamluk, a port of east coast, handled trade, and the Guptas have the trade contact with the Western Asia, means from Arab, from Africa, and from Asia. Western Asia means Europe or Mesopotamia. At that time, Europe was known as Mesopotamia, Arab and Africa. India do the trade, export the goods from India, export the groups or the Gupta dynasty export the group from goods from to Arab, Africa and Mesopotamia. Second thing, Tamralipatti, Tamluk, a port in the east coast, handled trade with Shubrabhumi, Burma and Myanmar. A port from the east coast, that is Tamralipatti. Tamralipatti. It coast from the east, Tamralipatti. Today we know it by Tamil. Today we call it Tamil. It is the coast into the eastern Ghat, into the eastern area from which Guptas do the trade with Burma and Myanmar. So, Yavadvip means Java and Sumatra. Where it is into the Indonesia. Next, Kampuchea and Cambodia. These were the countries through which Guptas do the trade. Next, goods exported from India include spices. Now, what type of goods exported to the other countries? That is spices. Spices means in Indian language, in Hindi language we call it masala. Next, spices, pearls. Pearls means in Hindi we call it moti. Ivory. What do you mean by ivory? Ivory means teeth of elephant. The outer teeth of the elephant was known as ivory. जो हाथी we call it हाथी दांत, etc. Perfumes, textiles, and precious stones were the major item of the trade. Perfumes were also exported from India to other countries. Textiles means cloths. Cloths also export to the another countries. Next, precious stones. What do you mean by precious stones? Means diamonds and many type of precious stones were also exported to another countries. So these were the major items from which from Gupta's dynasty is exported to another countries. This made the Gupta's kingdom rich. This type of items exported to another countries make the Gupta's kingdom rich, because by which money comes and they become too much prosperous. It also helped to spread Indian culture to these places, and by the help of the trading, many pilgrims or many priests from India also go to another country to do the advertisement related to our religion, related to the religion of Hinduism culture, Indian culture, and about the places. They tell about the places which were at that time, which were in today's also. These were the two things which I have explained to you. In the next video, I will tell you about religious, art and architecture of the Gupta's dynasty. Now it's over. Take care of yourself.